Okay, welcome to Fahrenheit Performance Podcast, episode number 2.
Yeah.
So we didn't plan on this one, but Bryce was here today for a bike fit. So I thought that I would sit down and have a chat to him about past, present and future and what his plans are and how he got here today. So if you don't know Bryce, he's a SEA Games athlete, represents Singapore in triathlon, swim, bike, run, and he's very, very good at it. So why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit, Bryce?
Yeah, so hi guys, so my name is Bryce. I'm a Singapore national triathlete. I've been doing it for the past, I would say slightly more than a decade now.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a while. It's
getting old.
Yeah, so it's been a long time since I've been my triathlon journey as well has been long. Still thinking of doing it for the next, hopefully another decade or so. Yeah.
Because you're still young, right?
I'm like 26, 27 this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's still a long time to go.
Still, I would hopefully still a while to go, and then so couple of good things planned for my calendar, not only for this year. Like leading up to all the way up to even like 2029. So everything is pretty much planned out. It's just that like in between, it's like maybe not that concrete for the moment.
So you've been doing triathlon since what, 2013?
2013.
So when's your first triathlon?
I was 2013 or 2012. Yeah. So I was introduced to triathlon in like primary 6, if I'm not wrong. That's a while back.
Okay.
I can't even remember the date. But like primary 6, I remember because like I was in a swim club, and then like we were trying to. I think my swim coach like left the club, and then we were trying to find another like appropriate coach for the club itself.
Yeah.
So there were like probation coaching. So every week there will be like different coaches coming into the club to train us.
Yeah.
And then so happened that one of the coach, he's still around, Coach Tan. He's like fish like swimming.
Okay.
Yeah. So he fish like swimming, and I think he teaches like total immersion kind of like strokes and like swimming. So he was the one that sort of like pulled me into like triathlon. He was like, I think he found it a little bit of a waste because like at that point of time, like I was turning up the training, but all I was doing is just having fun. I wasn't swimming. So every time it's like all I wanted, because like when you were small, you want everything to be fun.
Yeah.
So everything that we did was like, we just like keep wanting the coach to give us like like relay formats, all these kind of things, rather than like doing proper training. And then he thought that it was a little bit of a waste to see like someone like this have like maybe this amount of talent or this good in the sports, and then like just just not using it.
Yeah.
And then like he introduced me to like running first, and then he thought that like, this is interesting. Like he could swim, he could sort of run.
So you were a swimmer.
I was a swimmer. Yes, I was a swimmer I was actually a swimmer way before I was triathlete. So I would transition from a swimmer to becoming a triathlete. Yeah.
So you're a swimmer, and then you thought, okay, I'll run a little bit, and then you worked out, I can run. I'm a pretty good runner.
Yeah, and then Coach Tang was like, why not put another sport into it, like cycling?
Yeah.
And then like because you have been swimming my whole life, and then like every time when you swim, there's no one to talk to, there's nothing to see at the bottom of the pool.
Very, very
so it's
solitary.
It's so monotonous and that's like so boring. So like then cycling naturally became very interesting to me. Yeah. So it's like swim, cycle, and run. Like why not?
Yeah.
And then when I progressed to like sports school.
So you went to sports school for your high school?
I went to sports school. I DSA into sports school as a swimmer, to be precise. Yeah.
Okay.
So but when I DSA into sports school, I also asked them if like there was like triathlon academy.
Was there?
Unfortunately, there wasn't.
Yeah.
Because at that point of time when I entered in, they sort of like disband like the triathlon academy. So or they are no longer taking any intakes of triathletes.
Yeah.
But so happened that I met a long distance running coach, which was Eugene Lee. So he was dabbling between the remaining triathletes in the sports school and also the long distance like track and field team.
You still keep in contact, and you're still using like Eugene Lee?
Yeah, I still keep in contact with him. We are actually pretty close. Like you're so close to the point that he lives like the block next to me. So that's as close as we can get. But yeah, so like that's how my journey with like triathlon began. Not only triathlon, but together with like Eugene Lee as well.
Yeah.
Like how it like continued from not only from sports school, even like after sports school, and even after like poly, and even in down to like NS, and even after NS.
Yeah.
And then he introduced me Eugene like so open-minded to the point that he introduced me to like even like Australian squads and like Australian talents, Australian coaches that I can train under as well.
Yeah.
So like it's quite hard to find someone like this like in Singapore that is like this open-minded as well.
Yeah, because if he's not gonna you're not gonna want to give away your athletes, right? But
yeah. So
okay. So then, what was you primary 6 swimmer, running, triathlon? What was your first official race?
This
was like the NTU triathlon or something like that. You know how
funny enough, it was like it's the first year that like Milo. It's like the Milo triathlon. Yeah,
they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, they don't have it anymore. But it's like I clearly remember.
That sounds so Singaporean.
I clearly remember like just because of the race, like me and my parents like booked a chalet in Sentosa, if I'm not wrong.
The race was in Sentosa?
Yeah, the race was in Sentosa.
Did they have Milo at the drink stations?
Yes.
They did? Nice.
Yes. Yeah, and then the Milo trucks.
Yeah.
I think they're still having it now, but it's not like...
I've seen the Milo truck before.
Yeah. So it's quite funny. So because we didn't have any way to go in at that point of time, so why not like... and the race was really early. Yeah. It was like 7 a.m.-ish, that kind of thing. So we're not going to wake up at like 4+ a.m. just to take like a bus or maybe like a taxi down, and then the taxi can't even go in at that point of time. So it's like you have to physically either walk in or I don't know, ride in. Yeah. So we stayed one night in like Sentosa,
nice.
One of the chalets, and then I still remember that.
That's motivation enough to do a triathlon all the time, right? Just get a free chalet stay.
So and then at the time of the race, it was the most hectic race I've ever seen in my life. Like everyone was like all over the place. Like if you know Sentosa well enough, it's all the way at Tanjong. The transition was at Tanjong Beach. At the Tanjong Beach, and then like the car park
where all paddle boards and stuff are.
Yes. So the car park was the transition area itself.
Nice. Okay.
So they no cars were in there. So it was just like bike racks and then like all the transition stuff.
Open water swim right there.
Open water swim and But the only problem was that like there's no management during the Milo triathlon. So there are like people. So you're not supposed to like cycle in transition. That makes sense. Yeah. So but like kids were like.
Also, they had no TAs there.
Yeah, I think there were TAs, but just like there was too many people to the point that they couldn't control them at all. Yeah. So like.
So how old were you at this point?
I think that was about 13, 14.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. So I was.
So how'd you do? Did you win?
There was no like it was so messy to the point there was no results. Yeah. So they like everyone was crossing the line and then like people were enjoying Milo rather than the results. Yeah. So and then there's like it's just so messy. So to the point when I went to like we were training like me and my coach, like Coach Tang, we were like training up for like the Milo triathlon. Yeah. Because we were taking it pretty like seriously because like he said like give it a shot, maybe this is actually what you like to do. So I actually took it seriously. But the thing was that like after the swim I went into transition, it was like so messy. Like kids were like cycling in transition.
Was it a kids only race?
For my category,
sounds
yes.
like a kids only race.
There was kids, but there's also adults as well.
But is it like 35-year-old men running around and then there's like kids and
And then, so like it's so messy. Then I was a bit confused. Like what am I supposed to do? And stuff like this. Yeah. And then it was so messy that like I couldn't like focus and then like start running like out of transition after the bike, like running out of transition with my helmet on as well. So that race will forever be like in my mind for sure.
So what was the key takeaway? Did you come out with that with a fire for triathlon, or did you like what the heck is this?
I mean, like at the back of my mind, it was definitely like the messiest race of my life. But like I really did enjoy it because like I think it's just really fun. It's not just like swimming, like competitive swimming where you just jump in the pool and then like there's like some system to it, that kind of thing. Just jump in the pool, swim as fast as you can and just get out.
50 meters or 50, maybe 400 meters,
Then and the longest that you'll go, after a certain age is like 1,500. So
20 minutes or so.
20 minutes. If you're a faster swimmer, maybe 16, 17 minutes and you're done. That kind of thing. Yeah. So it's something more interesting. That's why like I felt in love with triathlon much easier.
So from the Milo race in Sentosa, then from there Trifecta or Meta Sprint Series or
I think it was Tri-Bob. I think it was Tri-Bob.
Which Tri-Bob became Meta Sport.
Yes. Yeah. Then it Tri-Bob and then there was the OSIM triathlon as well. So
Okay,
those
which
were
also
the
doesn't exist anymore.
yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's around anymore. So like those are the like kind of like races that I was like dabbling with in Singapore as well. When I think the first couple of years when the name was still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then because I was in sports school, and
Yeah.
then I was able to not only race for the swimming team but also for the track and field team as well. So like
Oh, cool.
cross country races, 1,500 and 3K track races.
Yeah.
You know, so it was good at that
So
point.
you're that good at running, you could independently be on the track team as well as the swim team.
I cannot say that I was good, but I was good enough.
Yeah, to get on the
I
team.
was good enough to be on the team.
Okay.
For my
So
category. So
if you're good enough to be on the team, you're good. Maybe not excellent, but good, right?
yeah, just good enough. Yeah, you'll just put it
Okay.
there.
So then, now that you're doing what you're doing, right, and you come from the Milo race, what sort of advice do you give to someone that's just starting triathlon? Should they get the fanciest bike, the best pair of Nike shoes, and go all in, or what's the easiest way of getting in?
I think the most important thing, especially like for beginners, is just you don't have to be like the fanciest bike or the fastest shoe or like some Elliot Kipchoge shoe or something like this. But like I think back then we didn't have the option for this, but like maybe the cheapest on the shelf, we get it. Yeah. But now like there's more like a lot more options like Decathlon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like Decathlon sells like really decent like price bikes, like road bikes as well. It may not be the fastest, but I'm damn sure they're quite durable.
Yeah.
So I think for someone who's starting out, like it doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult. I think just getting something simple, as long as it rides, as long as you can wear that shoe to run, is good enough.
And getting the experience of the race,
just getting experience of the race,
understanding
and having fun,
transition. Because a lot of times, like when I did my first triathlon, I didn't know what the heck was going on in the transition. I got in there and I was putting on my socks, and then my dad jumped out with the camera and started taking photos, and I'm like, what the heck? And then and I think I spent 5 minutes in transition, and then like by the time you get seasoned, you're in there for a minute and a half or maybe even less, right?
So I think like especially like new day and age where people like view triathlon as a big accomplishment. You know, last time it was like like running a marathon was like a big accomplishment. Like now it's like a different thing. Now it's like people like going into triathlon is like because I want to change up my life.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah. And triathlon is good. Like, so in a cycling race, it's the winner takes all.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
You could be sitting in the pack for the whole time, and then you sprint to the front, you win on the podium.
Yeah.
But in a triathlon, sure, there's a winner and there's a second and third place, but you know your time for an Olympic distance event, you know your time for a 70.3, you know your time for a sprint distance. So I think majority of the people doing triathlons are actually just competing against themselves, right?
Yes.
And it's an accomplishment to do that.
Yeah, and not only that as well. Like, I mean, in different like for triathlon, there's a lot of different terrains. Unless like you're doing that course like over and over again. Like in Singapore, that's like for us, it's like East Coast Park over and over again. Like doesn't matter like which organizer is doing it. It's just only probably you can change the direction of the bike. You can change the direction of the swim. You can change the direction of the run. But it's just like you're limited to like this space in Singapore. So I think the most important thing is like you can set goals for yourself, but at the end of the day, you gotta have fun doing it. Because if you're not having fun and you're just like every day like David Goggins just grinding your way through, then I don't think that's the way to do it.
He says he's having fun.
Yeah, I mean to him it's having fun, like suffering every single day. But like for someone like as a beginner, like just doing triathlon, just to keep like maybe a simple goal like I want to complete a triathlon, a sprint distance, or eventually I want to complete a Ironman distance. You know, there's definitely some seriousness in it, but the seriousness cannot be like 100% of the time.
Yeah, sure.
It's like training. You can't like your hard days cannot outweigh your easy days. You know, it doesn't make sense.
Or you can't have every single training session to be a hard day.
Yeah, right? you just burn out.
So along the way, have you had any big injuries along the way, or setbacks, or anything that sort of?
No big injuries at the moment, I would say. Like thank God. Like, but maybe I would say the biggest one maybe is just like from cycling crashes. Then I'll be like out for like maybe a week or so.
Okay, that's not that long.
Yeah, not that long. Maybe minor setbacks. Maybe like, for example, when I was in NS, was like plantar fasciitis, that kind of stuff. Maybe like minor strains on like the IT band, like IT band syndromes, calf strains, all these kind of things. It's like just minor setbacks, just like, you know, take care of myself and just like go out there and do it again, and then making sure just to, you know, be a bit more careful.
So then, how do you stay? What's your strategy for staying injury free? Do you do you stretch it before every run? Do you do anything in particular, or are you just lucky?
I think it boils down to the purpose of whatever you're doing. That you might understand the purpose whatever you're doing. Yeah. So when I was much younger now, when I was younger then, I mean, a lot of things that like my coaches give me, it's like, oh, just close my eyes and just do it. Yeah. And you do it hard, and you do it good. You good job. You know, they'll clap your hand. Good job.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. That's the only goal you have to do. And then you race hard, and you're happy. Coach is happy. Parents is happy. Everyone just clap hands, and you're like, oh, you're a better athlete. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it came to a point when, like, especially when I transitioned from a swimmer to a triathlete, I realized that it doesn't work that way, because like there is a lot of times when the coaches need your feedback, like proper feedback. It's not always a simple word. Oh, I'm feeling good. Yes. Oh, I'm feeling bad. No. So a lot of time, like, communication was like something that I really lacked when I was much younger. Like, it's funny enough.
Is it as simple as like writing in training peaks your notes and how I felt on that, and
something like this. Yeah.
A diary.
Yeah, so like especially when I was with my Australian coach, when like Eugene, my Singaporean coach, introduced me to this coach called Warwick Dalziel. So he was the one that took me in as one of his athletes as well when I was in Australia, and then even when I was back in Singapore was like online coaching. So looking back now, I realized that like it was a very monotonous relationship. Even though like training was good in Australia, but when I came back to Singapore, it's like very monotonous, because I realized that all the time I only report to him once a week. He'll give me a whole week of training program, and then I would like just make sure I just upload the training programs, through Garmin, the Garmin app or whatever it is, and then what will happen is that maybe every Saturday or Sunday he will just like have a call, or it's just a text through, maybe an email, just say how you feeling, all these kind of things, and then I'll just proceed by saying, oh, training was good, and then it just ended there. I felt good.
So what would be a better description? How would you say it now? Would you say, I think, I woke up tired and I didn't? How would you describe it?
Like now would be a little bit more different because of what I've experienced. Maybe a daily thing. I understand it's a lot to ask, especially from an athlete itself, and then communicating with a coach who has like
20 athletes
or something like this. Yeah. So he and not only that, he had got to adjust to my timing as well, because like Brisbane and Singapore is like 2 hours apart.
3 hours.
3 hours apart. Yeah. So I got like both have to accommodate. And then like I would say that like daily I would update like my coach. That would be the most ideal, but I mean it's not reasonable, I would say. But I think at least once every 2 days, just explaining how you're feeling. Like, oh, I don't like this training. Like it doesn't have to be like too professional in a sense, because sometimes too professional can be a bit blind, can be a bit like blindsided. Yeah. So something as maybe as straightforward as like, oh, yesterday I had a run and you gave me this, but I don't feel comfortable with it. Yeah. Because like after maybe 20 minutes into the run, and then this felt off. And then like I felt like, oh, like my legs wasn't activated. Maybe we should change it up a little bit. Maybe put like this instead of this first. Yeah. But you can propose this kind of like ideas, or this kind of like training, I would say, techniques or strategies, but ultimately you must understand that like there is a purpose why the coach gives you this, and then not another way around. So by having this communication, like you will also understand that like, oh, from this coaching perspective, he wants me to do this and this.
So you need to trust the coach to have your goal in mind as well, right? So
Yeah.
it's not blindly just dropping in.
Yeah.
workouts.
So now for me, I would say very differently. Like everything that I do in training, there is a purpose, there is a goal. For example, like I think a very simple and easy thing, like every Monday, that's like a 50-minute easy run. So the goal is just get the distance in the legs, but trying to be as aerobic as possible. So that's the purpose of the training. But what we want to focus on, maybe a little bit more on the heart rate, I would say. Maybe keeping the heart rate of a certain intensity only, not exceeding. That's the most important thing, or else you're using a different system.
So while we're talking about training, why don't you tell me about your typical training load or typical week of training? How many hours a week are you doing? Like 5 hours? Like, is it a full-time job? Is it 40 hours? Or what do you do?
I would say now it's a bit different. Now it will definitely be a little bit lesser, but I'm still dabbling with
now being because it's an off year, or is it because you're not?
Not an off year, but like because of like my job and maybe a few more other commitments and stuff like this. I think it will definitely be a little bit of a hindrance to training. But I mean, I still try to do my best to keep the mileage and the hours up there.
Yeah.
But I think now on average it's about 15 to 20 hours.
Okay.
On 20 being a good week itself, like no disruption and stuff like this, and 15, like, that would be the bare minimum.
So you think at 15 is what you need just to maintain where you are?
I would say maintain would be I would say lucky enough to maintain.
Yeah.
At my level, but there is, I mean, at 15 hours, I would say that I need to be a bit more realistic on like my racing goals. I can't go into like a Asia Cup race and then like with 15 hours of training and then say like, oh, I want to come out with the first pack, I want to break away and I want to win the race. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's practically impossible. Yeah. So with 15 to 20 hours, I need to be a bit more strategic is number one, but also
that's
a bit more
not
realistic.
just 15 hours of jogging around and riding around Singapore, right? This is structured training. Those 15 hours you're doing something in that.
Yes,
that's not
15 to 20 hours of like structured training. It's not like just fooling around and like, you know, like having like 3 to 4 cafes, cafe rides.
Coffee ride, It's so like you're doing intervals, you're doing hill climbs, you're doing something like that, right? And then when you're running, you're not just running around Bedok Reservoir, you're actually doing some pace. You know, you've got some pace, and you know exactly what you're doing for that workout, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so it's okay. So in real terms, it's probably warm ups and cool downs and stuff. It's probably way more than 15 hours.
I would say even warm ups and cool downs are. I would factor it in as well because like for me, warm ups are like
it's important as well,
quite
right?
important. Yeah.
Okay. And then so let's just say typical training. Let's just say mid-level training week, right? You're 18 hours.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Is that like 6 hours a day for 3 days a week, or what are you doing?
So usually there's a gradual build up into the week itself. So we always start off a little bit on the easier side. That means easy aerobic side on maybe like Mondays, maybe leading up to Tuesdays. So when it goes up to like maybe Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays, we get to play around with the intensity a little bit more. So that's when like your body is a little more prepped for those days, for higher intensity days.
But are you doing something every single day? Is there a day like Sunday you take off, or like a Wednesday in the middle of the week you take off, or are you swimming in the morning and then you're running in the afternoon?
Well, at the moment, I'm pretty much doing something every single day. Yes, but not every day. It's like hard, that kind of thing. Yeah. So especially now with like work commitments and stuff like this, I'm very very particular in recovery. That's number one. Like recovery is the most important. That means like eating, hydrating well, and even sleeping.
So you see, so what do you do are you talking recovery boots? Are you talking, or are you just talking like rest?
Number one, like top priority is rest. Yeah, that's number one, which is sleep. Yeah. Second would be, I would say, your nutrition, which is like you making sure that you're eating well, you're hydrating well, not before training, after training, but during training as well. And then the third one will probably is all those any recovery modalities. I'm talking about ice baths, saunas, maybe sports massage, rehab or anything like this. So that would be.
So
third.
you do all those things.
I would do my best to do almost all of it. Yeah, that would be top priority before I can even think about like any hard trainings that will be coming the next day.
Because a lot of people just think about training, and if they have an extra half an hour in the week, I'll just do more training, right?
Yeah.
And then I want to get better, so the only way to get better is to do more training.
Do more training,
right?
yeah. So it's not necessary in a sense. Yeah. If any of you guys that know me out there, if there are days where I'm absolutely off, all right, I would rather not train.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if let's say on on a day that I'm off, okay, and then off meaning like feeling terrible in a sense. If I'm gonna train through, it's almost 100% guarantee that I won't hit the time. That's number one. Okay. Number two, it's like it's not benefiting me because you're not hitting the times, you're not hitting the scene. Yeah, you're not hitting the correct intensity.
Yeah.
And number three, because all this is playing in your head, mentally you're also very fatigued, you're very demoralized. Yeah. So I rest that day and then like get better the next day and do a quality session than risking like not only physical but mentally and like spiritually that I'm like so down and then it just brings on to the next day.
So you feel like if you, let's just say there's something really troubling you, do you feel like that affects the training?
It does to a certain extent, but I mean everyone will go through things every day.
Yeah.
It's just like how you filter them out, like mentally filter them out. It's not gonna lie, it's gonna be hard, but like it takes like experience and training to to toughen up your mind to like filter those like negativity.
Yeah. So back to working out, I guess. Do you do most of your stuff indoors? Are you on the bike on a trainer at home, or you're riding, or you're on a treadmill, or?
I think it depends, especially. I mean, in Singapore now, it's like depends on the weather, it depends on the time that I have. Yeah. So when I'm really tight for time, then like if it's like a bike or a run, then I will probably do an indoor trainer or even a treadmill. Yeah. But I mean, if time allows me, then like of course, like going out to cycle and going to run is a lot like more interesting and better. Yeah, but I mean, swimming there's no escape to it. Yeah. I mean, Singaporeans have like stadium. Yeah, we have like sports hub stadium to swim in. Yeah. If it's not closed, that's number one. But I mean, if you got, Singapore is one of the countries that has like.
There's quite a few pools around, right?
Quite a.
Bukit Merah, and then you got Evans Road, and
like Sports SG pools, So the only downside of them is like you can't use the pedals. That's all. But like there are plenty of in Sports SG pools I don't think you can use pedals. Yeah. So I mean, there's not much of an excuse unless it's like bad weather.
Or even condo pools, even though it might not be 50 meters or 25 meters.
Yeah.
You can still swim, right?
Yeah, you still can swim. Yeah. So there's not much of an excuse.
So tell me a little bit about you outside triathlon. What else do you do? Do you have hobbies? Do you make model cars?
So I do have a hobby. I do like to go like on quite adventurous stuff. So like hiking is nice. I'm quite a nature person as well. So hiking is nice. Going for those like nature reserve walks, some sort of things. Diving, scuba diving. That's pretty. Okay. Like I took it up quite a bit as well. Yeah. Like together with one of my best friends, we both of us do like diving quite a bit. Yeah. So
on a holiday, or you got Xiamen or something to dive, or?
Yeah. So no, even in Singapore, maybe it's not the best, but like it's still diving. Yeah. So it's maybe the visibility is not as good. Yeah. Maybe okay.
You still sneak out and have a bit of a scuba
diving.
So
just a sneak out, just like during the downtime, just have a scuba dive with my buddy.
Yeah. How about diet, right? Are you the sort of athlete that only has steamed fish and steamed chicken and 200 grams on a scale every?
That sounds like a bodybuilder diet, but no. Well, I used to not care about it. Yeah. I used to just.
Well, there's the mentality. As long as you're burning, just whatever you throw in is gonna get burnt up anyway, right?
Yeah. So Yeah, so that I used to have that mentality.
Yeah.
I used to like, oh, whatever I want to eat, just eat. Whatever I have, but as long as I eat and I'm happy, I'm good. Yeah. But now it's a little bit different because especially, I mean, growing a little bit like older in a sense.
Yeah, and wiser.
System, hopefully. But training also a different approach to training as well, especially for myself, going to a little bit more 70.3s this year.
So you are doing a 70.3. Is this an official announcement that
yeah, so if you guys are, so if you guys are hearing it, yes, I'm doing a couple of 70.3 this year. So
what are you doing? Let's don't talk about diet anymore. What 70.3 for you?
Okay, so the first one I on my calendar now planned is 70.3 Ironman 70.3 Dizaru.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
a local one.
May. Yeah, that's in May. Second one would probably be in Sunshine Coast, Australia.
Yeah.
Sets in September, and then October probably Davao in Philippines.
So it's 3.
Yes, and then if
is that so? Let's just because you've never done 70.3, you don't know what's going to happen, right? But if you do qualify, would you go to Tapao in December?
I mean, if it will definitely give it a shot, you know. I mean, that's the ultimate goal.
Because there's no SEA Games this year.
Yeah,
right?
there's no SEA Games this year. I mean, like just giving a middle distance a bit of a try.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's definitely different trainings to it, and different, I would say, strategies, and a bit more. And like I said, nutrition as well. Like you have to be really, really on top of nutrition. Yeah. Because the amount of calories that you're burning.
Well, if you don't eat on the bike, by the time you get to the run, you're
so the appropriate amount of calories you're supposed to eat, like let's say per hour, especially when trainings are back to back. All kind of things are very important. Yeah.
So do you do that during training? Do you count? I want 90 grams of carbs every hour, and then
now going into 70.3, I'm a lot more conscious about it.
Yeah.
Especially like, for example, if I have trainings like back to back, let's say like a bike on a run or like a swim and a run, you know, I'm quite particular in like what like isotonic drinks that I'm drinking, what I'm eating in between. You know, not only on the carbs, but also on the sodium content as well. Yeah. So because we are training, I mean, for us, Singapore is like a hot and humid country. So like all this will eventually, you know, play a part in your trainings, your nutrition, the amount of like your sweat rate, sweat content, everything will play a part in your training. Yeah. So and then this like whatever habits that for me whatever I adopt during training is definitely like replicable in races. Yeah. So I probably need to get used to it.
Okay.
More.
So going back to diet. Now we've got the 70.3 out of the way.
Yeah.
So back to diet. So you do focus a bit more. You're eating cleaner, I guess.
A lot cleaner, I would say. Not just a bread and jam in the morning and just coffee, but like maybe, for example, a bit more. It's still a bit monotonous, but a lot more cleaner in a sense.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe milk with Quaker oats and with honey, and then like pop in the microwave for like a minute, 30 seconds, and then just eat it like
so you're
hot.
not having fried chicken every day.
Well, try to prevent that. Try not to have that too much. Yeah, but yeah, definitely less like oily, less fried stuff for sure. Yeah.
So then what are you doing now? What is your job?
So currently now, like I'm juggling between like my sports, and also now I'm a sports therapist. So sports therapist means like sports massage, maybe a bit of rehab here and there, together with Muscle Lab. Yeah. So I recently just transitioned into full time. So last year, 2023, like I would say I was with them for 6-7-ish months or so. Yeah, and then I was like just doing part time and then like freelance on my end. But like beginning this year, which is like 1st Jan officially, like I'm like officially on board with them like full time. Okay. Yeah.
And then is that the end game? Is that what you want to do for I guess the near future at least?
I mean, I've always been very intrigued in like sports therapy, and even like for like even whatever I studied like sports science. Yeah. So sports therapy is like it's never ending, because it's like helping people. It's a recovery process, not only for myself but even for like people out there. And then for sports science, I think the part that really interests me, it's more of like performance and improvement.
Yeah. I think so. In this clinic, physio clinic, right?
Yeah.
The greatest thing is that people come here to get better.
Yes.
And when they walk through the door, it's almost like the lowest point, and then they go up.
Yeah.
It's not everyone like ACL reconstruction or something. They're going to get 99% of the time they get better, right?
Yeah.
But if you compare it to something like a hospice or a cancer center, people may get better, people may get worse, people may die. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody dies getting physiotherapy, right? So, and I guess the same with sports therapy. You're not going to get a sports massage and you're not going to get worse. Right?
So I mean, for myself, I mean, I've seen my fair share, like through the slightly more than a decade of, like sports. I see my fair share of people getting injured. I see my fair share of people, neglecting certain things, certain recovery sessions, and then it just get worse.
Yeah.
Or I've seen people who just refuse to believe in certain things. Yeah. And then and then from there it's like the end of their sports career. So rather than seeing more people like this, and especially like because of COVID, more people start to be a bit more conscious of their health. Yeah. And then like people start to do more, I would say, more self-care, like getting healthy, like running or cycling, whatever it is. Yeah. So the chances of people getting even injured now is even higher.
Because
everyone is doing something.
Everyone's a runner, right? Yeah. Or everyone's a cyclist during
COVID. Everyone wants to do something.
Yeah.
But like they probably don't have the proper. They don't understand the proper way of doing it. Yeah, they just kept doing, and then just one day it's like the body can't take it anymore and just like snaps.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that's when like people like me, people like your clinic, your physio clinic, like comes into really good use and handy as well.
Yeah. Okay. So then, sports massage, sports rehab, that keeps you occupied full time. So I guess then you do your training sort of in and around that.
Yeah. Right? So. Maybe training, and then now I'm also a little bit more involved in like those, we'll say a bit more on sponsorship like campaigns and stuff like that if they do require me. Yeah. So I mean it's a commitment on my end because of like the sponsorship deals and stuff like this. So so I am pretty occupied at the moment. I would say not a very
thank you for your time today.
No.
Squeeze out a little bit of time with you.
But I mean, like all this. I mean, it's good to have a chat, like people to so that more people do understand like what I go through, not just like freeloading
not just
everything.
You, like any working elite athlete, right? It's like everyone sees you at the race, but they don't know your backstory, and they don't know that you're working 40 hours a week and training 18 hours a week, which is already like 60 hours a week. And then you got a fiance, and you got parents, and you got all this other sort of stuff. And
so nothing is gonna get easier, but like for sure, like I mean, it's up to myself, up to any individual to get used to it, to just
So then, what's in store? What's in store for you next? What's on the horizon?
So so for long-term plan, this year I said just now it's a bit more 70.3, 2025. May still do a few 70.3 races, 1 or 2, but after that like I will still focus on SEA Games again.
So SEA Games is next year, so qualifying would be early
earlier next year. Maybe earlier next year because like there is a 1 year qualifying period. So earlier next year, and then maybe 2026 back down to a little bit more of 70.3 again, and maybe even that's not yet. Maybe any games along the way, definitely I will give it a shot. But I mean for myself, I gave my 2025, 2027 and 2029 SEA Games, that is definitely the goal.
Because 2029 is Singapore, right?
Yeah.
So home game Singapore.
Yeah, I would definitely want to do that for sure. Right. But I gave I mean to be also realistic on my end, like 2029 would probably be officially the last like serious like SEA Games that I'll ever do. Yeah, just end it off on a good note, and then
it'll be like 30, 31.
30. That's now it's 2024, so I'm 27. So another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So it's about so almost there. 30 plus actually. Yeah. Okay. So 2029 would I give myself until 2029 the official like last and final SEA Games that I'll take seriously.
And then you're going to be all in on 70.3.
Then we'll see what's after that. Maybe just completely switching to long course.
Like 71 average client, like if a triathlon, is between 35 and 55.
Yeah.
And you don't see 19-year-old 70.3 or Ironman. It's very, very uncommon.
Yeah.
They're all 35 to 55. Maybe it's because it's an expensive sport. Maybe because you've got a little bit more time in your life. Maybe there's a whole bunch of maybes, right? Or maybe it's just your body is different that age, but like you'll be right into that window,
Yeah.
right? By that time.
So yeah, so I've now until 2029. It may be a long time, but like time
That's
is
a
gonna
long
fly.
train.
The
That's a
time
lot
is
of
gonna
18
fly.
hours.
Yeah, time is gonna fly. Time is really gonna fly pretty fast.
Uh-huh.
And then like next thing you know, it's like after next year Thailand SEA Games, it's like boom, Malaysia and then Singapore.
So it's Thailand, Malaysia, then Singapore.
That's supposed to be the order, but
Mm.
I mean anything can happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's up to the country as well. Any SEA Games country. So.
And every time they have triathlon, right? Or is it?
It is up to the country to decide, but so far like Thailand has a triathlon team, so there is quite a confirmed like triathlons and not even triathlon, aquathlon and duathlon as well.
Mm.
So and then when it comes to Malaysia, there is a Malaysia triathlon team association. So definitely it's up to them again. So maybe only triathlon, duathlon, or I'm not sure whether they want to put aquathlon in.
Who are the biggest threats in the SEA Games? Is it Philippines and
It's
Thailand?
it's
or is it-
always funny enough, like through the years, different countries in the Southeast Asia countries are like really stepping up.
Mm.
So like this like 2023 in Cambodia, like Indonesia and Philippines were the biggest like threat.
Mm.
I would say. And Vietnam as well. Vietnam they won the duathlon, which was very
Oh, wow.
surprising. Yeah. So these countries are like really coming up, and
Yeah.
then I mean I hope Singaporeans as well, like the younger generations
Yeah.
will start to step up into triathlon. And
Do you have hope for the younger generation? Is there a good pipeline of up and comers right now?
well, I hope. I know a few.
Yeah.
I know a few young athletes like Kian from Tribal. I know there's a few. I forgot.
But would you hope that there's more? Would you hope that there's 10,
like for
10
sure.
that are coming up?
Yeah, for sure. Like the more the merrier.
Yeah.
The more the better competition that they have just locally.
Yep.
The better the standards. Even yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that one day, like, I can't just keep like me, Luke, or like the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are all getting older.
Yeah.
But it cannot always be us like
Yeah.
standing on the podium.
Yeah.
I would be
It's happy to be standing on the podium, right? But
It would be happy, but
it's,
like,
it's
yeah.
fun times that there's a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah,
strong
but it's like
competition.
it would be so much like better a better story to tell, especially when there's like a new face on the podium.
And then when the time does come for you to do something different,
Yeah.
the sport's in good hands, right?
Yeah, and then that we can leave this distance with in good hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So then, do you have an A race this year, or what's your dream race? Do you have any aspirations to, like, what would be the ultimate, if you finish that race, you can retire happily and never have to do anything?
Okay, so it used to be Olympics.
Yep.
Yeah, it used to be the Olympics, but like realistically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that the Olympics is gonna be a very far-fetched goal.
I'm sure there's crazy qualification.
There are quite a
requirements,
few
right?
a few ways to qualify, like qualify to WT points,
Mm.
Olympic test events, even like that year itself winning your own like the regional cup, like Asia Cup,
Mhm.
like coming in first.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's up to you which you think is the best.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is like
It's not
standards in the-
like
yeah.
there's 100 countries in the world and then you get one person from each country, because the size
Yeah.
must be limited, right? So
Yeah.
they can't just.
So
you can't
the
just plonk
the thing
somebody
is like standards in the world is like coming up.
Yeah, of course.
And then it's not talked about a lot, but like in triathlon in world triathlon standards,
Yeah.
like a lot of like runners, like triathletes, are running faster than like the top runners in Singapore, like easily.
Oh
like,
yeah, no, I heard a stat. Well, what was it? Well, there was one year the Olympic triathlon. It was like the podium in the 10K
Yeah,
would make the final of the Olympic 10K.
yeah.
That's how fast they were running.
So
and then
they-
they still have to swim and bike.
Yeah, and like you look at the times, like for example, like the recent Tokyo Olympics,
Mm.
like the top 4 or 5 people in this is after a 1,005 swim and a 40-kilometer bike, and they're not swimming or cycling and like slow. They're pretty fast, but the top 5 are running like faster than Singapore's best.
Yeah,
you know?
under 30 minutes for a 10K, right?
Yeah, so like for us to even like Singapore national triathletes to reaching that level,
Yeah.
we're gonna need a lot more talent than just like me, Luke, and
Yeah,
like
of
the
course.
rest. We're gonna need like a lot more people to be
A
more
lot more people and a really
a really structured like structured
and
like
supported
team also.
association
Yeah,
and racing schedule and
Yeah.
everything like that, right? So so if it's not the Olympics, Commonwealth Games,
so
Sea Games,
I think
Sea Games in Singapore.
I think SEA Games, like realistically speaking, I think
Mhm.
SEA Games will be a really good one. I think not only qualifying for it, I think winning it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if I'm
You
not
came
wrong,
close, didn't you get a silver medal?
it was 2019, like the silver medal in the mixed team relay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think my ultimate goal is not just the mixed team relay, but it's like also the individual as well.
Yeah. So in
Yeah.
the aquathlon,
Yeah, so
did
the
you get silver or bronze?
bronze. So
medal.
the 2023 SEA Games, which was in Cambodia,
Yeah.
like I managed to get the bronze medal for aquathlon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And aquathlon is 1500 swim.
No, it's a lot shorter. It's like a 500-meter swim and then a 2.5-kilometer run.
Oh, so that's
Yeah.
like full gas.
Yeah, full gas, like from
Like
start
zone
to end.
6.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's just full gas. But I think I think the really good ultimate goal is like getting like individual gold medal for like 2 events.
Mm.
So I think realistically speaking is triathlon and aquathlon. These two.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Aquathlon because you're a swimmer and a runner.
yeah, so that would be better for me in a sense. Yeah. So that would be that would be the best ultimate goal, I would say.
So you got a bronze in aquathlon and
Yeah.
a silver in mixed relay.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't want to say, but do you? Does the bronze mean more to you or the silver because it's a relay?
I think the bronze meant more to me, not only because I individual or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I would say, but I think the journey that I got the medal
Yeah.
was
And the
I
field
think
you must
the
have gone
field,
against as well.
yeah, the field and the story of getting that bronze medal is a lot more, I would say, intense and also a lot more emotional in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't a very, I would say, it wasn't a very best prep for me, especially leading up to 2023 SEA Games.
Mhm.
Yeah, got a few minor setbacks, especially like really close to the games as well.
Mhm.
So that definitely took me off the edge a little bit for like mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, coming back with a bronze medal, I couldn't ask for more. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Okay, I think that should wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for having a chat.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Just good luck, and I hear that you have another swim to do after this.
Yeah, we'll see now. Yeah.
It's getting late, so
it's getting late. But I mean, if it's, like I said earlier, I mean, if it's getting late and time is restricted, I mean, it's okay if you do it the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather do it the next day than just force it down like today and then
Sure, of
like
course.
can't sleep at night.
Yeah,
Everything just goes down the drain.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bryce.
Hey, no problem at all. Thanks for
We'll,
inviting me.
Catch up another time, okay?
Yeah, for sure.